And the head of the communications system, it wasn't called the FCC, was an amateur license. And he called up some of the gurus and said, what can we do to get a better signal? They received Tokyo Rose on Hawaii. And they ended up with a beverage antenna that was like 3 miles long, 15,000 feet long. The pathway is still cut there through the woods and the vegetation and the receiver shack. And they could hear Tokyo Rose wonderful every day. They made recordings of her every day. And they put the recordings on a B-17 and flew them back to Washington, D.C. to listen. But it was that long 3-mile beverage antenna that Tokyo Rose's signal would start to build up on and build up into multiple wavelengths as it came back to receive shacks. So that was quite a directional antenna.
Roger, you think that was better than rhombic?
Yeah, because they had the physical wavelength, you know, and closer to the ground made it a little bit quieter. And the beverage antennas that some of the big 160-meter boys run them at very low level. And once you get out there several thousands of feet, why, you hear things. I was talking to a guy here on 40. I've got a power line that's going to be discontinued here. A couple thousand feet I can play with. But he said he had the same thing on his farm, and they left some of the wire there. And he can hear things now down to 200 KCs in the amateur bands, in the VLF band. He could never hear. He said just that huge antenna, and signals will start to build on it. And I can hear signals down there very well that I couldn't even begin to think about hearing on my 80-meter antenna, just because it was such a multi-wavelength antenna in length that you could hear on this. You know, it works both ways. The transmit signal will start to build as electrons are being pushed off, and even on the receive side, they'll start to build and get stronger and stronger.
Roger, you know, those long wire antennas have a tendency to pick up voltage. I mean, you know, some pretty considerable voltage that you can actually get a arc to ground from just the wire that picking up stray voltage.
Well, I can be sitting here and know there's thunderstorms in the area, and I'll hear a snap here across the capacitor plates, and then I hear a boom.
Does he know that we're partners?
And that could be a thunderstorm, big static discharge 4 and 5 miles away.
Hey,
That's why I have complete disconnects here. I get all kinds of atmospheric noises on an antenna 330 foot long compared to a doublet.
Bob?
Yes?
I just want to warn you, that is my partner in crime. We have robbed many banks together.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. This is a 9GTO making a disclaimer.
Okay. Do you know Lou?
Yes, I do.
I know Lou. Hell, I've known the man all my life. Go ahead, Jim. I got to go outside and get the
for a few years, and boy, you got all kinds of character friends. Hello.
Hey, Bob, how's this mic breaking up or anything?
No, it's sounding pretty good, Kevin.
I'm not Kevin. I'll let you get it.
Kyle.
Old man farmer Bob.
Kyle.
Frank, he had old man, I can't, he had I better shut him.
Yeah, you better shut up. Go ahead, Lou. We've been sitting here talking antennas to, I think, Jim.
Yeah, I think he has disappeared or elsewhere detained, or maybe legally detained. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it'll do something else.
Yeah, I think it would have been neat to have been in radio, say in World War I or well, II, yeah, but the beginning of radio in warfare, I think, is really interesting as far as, you know, what they could do with, you know, learning about signals and stuff.
Well, yeah, amateur community contributed a lot of help to them, you know. I mean, we basically had no big trained military all about communications, and all the knowledge that the ham radio operators had. It's like the one guy head of the so-called FCC called up all the ham radio gurus and said, hey, we've got to come up with a better receive system. What's the ideas? And they all went out there and went to work, and bingo. There was Tokyo Rose. They had her coming through. A matter of a week. The average person, wouldn't have known what to do.
Roger that. Thing was, man, those military receivers, boy, they were, 50 pounds or so.
Well, that's why they called them boat anchors. Didn't have any transistors back then.
Roger. But they certainly were, well, they would have some problems on the higher frequencies from the standpoint of stability and all that. But as far as sensitivity, man, those are beautiful radios.
That's true. And it's going back to old tune circuits. It's not this broadband and stuff that we have in our Kenwoods here. It's the old tune circuit tuned to a resonant frequency with RFs, and even the IFs, and that was part of the sensitivity of things that we had in the old tube radios. We don't have in the modern solid-state stuff. We got wonderful filtering systems and filtering and bandwidth situations in these radios that we didn't have in the old boat anchors.
Roger, I remember as a kid, I had, I think, like a 7-band or a 10-band shortwave radio. I forget which manufacturer, but each of those bands had 2 or 3 adjustments, And I remember saying, "Well, I'm gonna tune this thing up." Oh boy, I'd get to about the 3rd band and make some critical mistakes as far as what I was doing.
Well, I still have boat anchor receivers. I operate some AM, and I've taken 2 of them and I've just tuned them strictly for like maybe one part of the 75-meter band or the high end of the 40-meter band to make them as sharp as I can on sensitivity and selectivity. And if I tune across the whole band, they start going dead. I don't have them tuned for a wide 5 megacycle, 4 megacycle frequency range. I've tuned them down just to be a sharp 150 kilocycle range. You can tell the difference in the performance of them.
Roger. Now, was that a triple conversion receiver?
No, they're double. I have double conversions. I do have one Collins that's got triple conversion. I leave it 1 megacycle tuned range. Hello.
N8FWD.
Good evening, WLXJ, Bob.
This is my Mark 5 quit on me.
Oh, has it come back?
It worked. It puts out 200 watts on CW, but it puts out like a quarter of that on sideband. Something happened there, and we'll send it off here in a month or so.
No, that's no good. I don't care for that CW.
So that tells me the PA is still good in it.
Take too long to say something on CW. Now, what is that, a Yaesu or ICOM or what?
This is an FT991 Yaesu.
I'm at the Mark 5.
Yeah, it's in 1000 NP Mark 5 Yaesu.
Okay, I'm with you. I've never had Yaesus.
Oh, it's an older radio, so it's bound to have something sometime go wrong.
True. It's like us old people.
Anybody heard Steve?
Yeah, he was in and out earlier. He's been fighting high water and whatnot.
Now wait a minute. He's at the top of a hill.
Back way home because he had they shut down part of the highway here.
Are you close to him or what?
He's the next county below me.
Okay, yeah, he's been telling us about the water problems over there. Started talking about 11 o'clock, I think.
What kind of water problems he having? I thought he was at the top of a hill.
Well, remember, he tried to get down to the bottom of the hill, and that's where the water is.
Oh, he's trying to get out.
Well, he was up here in Harrison County earlier, and they shut down part of 79.
Yeah, his wife's trying to get home from work.
Yeah, he may be batching it for a while.
And he said they had a few mudslides over there, too.
Yes, the road's horrible around here.
How many inches total did you get overall?
I don't know. I've never checked.
I know eastern Ohio, they had up to 3 inches in some places. It's just during the last day and a half.
Does this radio sound okay, though?
Yeah, it sounds good.
I'm just checking. I'm just talking here to see if my foot yards were good. Yeah, this radio's a lot smaller than my other radio.
Well, it works and communicates, and that's what we're all after.
Yeah, I got to get a keying line made now for my amplifier for this thing.
This KC9VKV, Bob, is it Bob there? Is that your name?
Yeah, I'm here at the WSJ.
Roger. We're going to take a standby here for short, but good to talk to you, sir, and we'll say 3's up that way. It's KC9VKV.
Okay, enjoyable conversation with you. Have fun with the antennas and whatnot.
Have fun with antennas? Hell, he's got 10,000 antennas, Bob.
Well, maybe he'll loan you one.
Well, one of these days he's going to help me get all straightened out over here. He keeps promising.
Hey, tell him who got him.
Hey, stop that, old man. Call on me, Bob.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job. Your turnover, Lou. Band's not the greatest.
Yeah, but old Jimmy's running the 2-tube I built for him.
Okay.
What kind of signal are you getting on Jimmy?
It's about the same turnover.
Ah, Jimmy, crank that thing up a little bit, Jimmy. Let's have a shootout to Chillicothe, Ohio.
Well, I can't do that, man. My antenna's in disrepair. I'm 20 feet off the ground. I lost my lease on the top limb, Roger.
Oh, that's it. There we go. All right, we're about the same. No, I'm only putting out 500 watts, Bob, on the W4 meter. The Drake W4 meter says about 500 watts. That's with a 100 watt drive, and the tube is putting out about 400, so that's 500 because a 3-500D is passive, so your input is definitely added to the output. So 500 watts on the W4 meter.
You guys, I got to jump out of here. I'll say 3's to everybody. Like I said, we're rolling tape. I think the tape is melted by now, but with any luck, we'll post it up on YouTube in the next few days. If you do a call letter search of Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that would bring up the QSO vlog page, and this should be at the top with about 170 QSOs. And under Art Bell, and incidentally, Art Bell died about 3 days ago.
I read that.
Well, me and Bob Blue, we don't know how to use computers, you know. So somebody will enjoy it, but you've always promised to teach me how to use a computer. So one of these days I'll learn how to use that computer.
Well, I just got one of them back. Then the problem was, it played all of the internet stuff fine, but when I went to play a local video, just a regular video, I had a green screen. And so I had to live with a green screen over the weekend, and just today I got a hold of the guy, and he led me through. We went through some doors and places I'd never been before, but finally I'm seeing the right video now instead of a green screen.
Good deal. All right, Jimmy, have a good one. We'll chat with Bob for a minute, and then the phone should be ringing here in a second, and that'll be the wife.